All right, everybody. Would like to welcome you back to episode 2 of the Squatch and Yeti show. I'm Squatch,
I'm Yeti.
and we're gonna do something a little bit different this time. We normally have the sense of humor of like a 12-year-old boy, and we're
A little. I mean, probably younger.
we're gonna attempt to be a little bit wholesome here because we've had some stuff go on in our community
There's
that
been
was kind of.
a lot happened the past weekend here in our little town here in Texas.
But we'll start off with like a little bit of story time. So Saturday we had some really bad weather at our work. We were both up there late helping out with moving the old people, all this stuff. Because if you
Yeah.
heard in the first episode, we both work in a nursing facility. Well,
To be fair, let's just give credit where credit is due. You did most of it. I showed up late, but I was there to help regardless. Yes, but I came in and you already had practically everybody moved, everybody situated, which is great. Like spot on you for being efficient and quick with it and thinking quickly about it because everybody else was kind of scattered, which kind of leads into our first episode. Everybody was scatterbrained that night. Let's. It was an emergency. There was flooding everywhere.
Scatterbrain was our life for sure Saturday night.
Yeah, it was definitely something.
But to kick off story time, okay, so we leave nursing home. We go to head home, and when I say our hometown was flooded, like
It was flooded. Think of what you would see in the films, right? Like any movie where you think of you see like the water flooding across the tiny bridge. That everywhere,
yo,
everywhere.
we so like the streets literally an over a little bridge like over a creek in our town straight up was like whitewater rapids,
Yeah.
which funny thing before that started white capping. I'm driving home, and right about the time I realize, oh, this water's getting deep, I go to stop and throw it in reverse, and my car just kind of says, yeah, we're done.
Yeah, stalled out for sure.
So I have to call Yeti here, and dude, in the 10 minutes it took for him to get to me, because like all the roads were flooded, I think the water rose like 6 or 8 inches.
No, it raised more. It raised more than I want to say. Want to go and I want to say close to a foot, if not at a foot. It
Yeah.
rose, man. Like it was, and that was up the road from the bridge. Like you weren't even on the bridge.
But I'll give him props. He found me. He got out. The car was actually starting to kind of move with the like waves and all that. So I like had my backpack with my phone and everything, and I'm prepared to just, if my car gets taken downstream, I'm bailing out the window and trying to swim to safety. Well, he comes up and total, I can be your hero, baby. But like a lot more like huffing and puffing, because like the
Yeah,
current was horrible. And I'll
dude.
say he was in flip flops and shorts, pushing my car with my big self in it.
Against water pressing against me up. It's not. I do say it was an incline. It was some incline, not a lot, like maybe like a degree of incline, but that makes a difference when you got water rushing down on you
and you're
and
pushing a car.
you're pushing a full blown Chrysler. It was you have.
Yep, little Chrysler 200,
Yeah,
four-door family car.
I mean it's you got what disclose information about Squatch here. I almost said Yeti. Well, we're both the same, I guess. The Squatch and I are both big men. Let's say that.
We are
And
not light.
yeah, pretty much pushing this car with an extra couple 100 pounds in it, which is neither here nor there. But my friend wasn't getting swept away from me that day. Promise you.
But
And
he gets me out of there, and really awesome.
yeah,
And as soon as we get swept out, which is kind of where this episode is leading to, this lepisode, yeah,
lepisode.
my
Yeah, I heard that. I didn't want to say
lepisode,
anything.
leprosy, leopards,
Yeah.
cougars, whatever.
Cougars.
We're just spitballing, man.
That's not the same thing as a leopard. They take your money. Cougars do. What are you talking about?
True,
I mean,
true.
If you let them, your soul too.
Sometimes.
Here
But-
we're. Let's be wholesome, and here we are.
Kind of wholesome. We're
Hey.
still immature child humor. But he pushes me out. And once we get out, first off, like the first responders, we have like 6 first responders, maybe 6 to 10 on a good day in our town. And they're volunteer firefighters. Like they're not like storm chasers or anything like that, you
Yeah,
know.
they're not trained emergency personnel to deal with the situation. Like they're doing the best they can, which I will give them props, man. Like they did a pretty good job, and they were quick with it. So
Yeah. But one of the guys was coming up and after we got out, he was like, "Hey, are y'all going to be here for a minute?" So we're like, I mean, yeah, we can't go nowhere. So
yeah,
he's like, "Cool, well y'all turn your flashers on and like make sure no one else comes down there." We still had some people that we literally had to get out and stop. One guy was trying to walk down the road. Told him, I'm yelling, "Hey, bro, hey!" Like you, and he like almost got swept away with the current, and he's like, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't go this way."
yeah. Like we're sitting here for a reason, man. Like
Like
we're trying to make sure that nobody comes down this way because like it. We were about, I want to say about what 40 yards roughly.
yeah, we were a little bit a ways away from the current, and
And,
still like
and
it was
yeah,
not good.
yeah, we could see the white caps and everything still, and it was right by a street light. And you would think with it being by a street light, people would be like, "Oh, well, that's probably not cross," but some people were ridiculous, and we turned away another car of people, didn't we?
Yeah,
That
was actually
I was gonna say it was the housekeepers from our job. Like they
well, there was
were.
the housekeepers, and there was the other car.
Oh yeah.
It was our buddy's nephew.
Yep.
He and I didn't even recognize the kid, and he's just like, "Oh, hey, you're Bubba's friend," because you know we're in the South, and everybody has a Bubba in their family tree, and he's like, "Man, you're Bubba's friend." Oh, is it that bad? Well, hell, I'm just going on to the next town.
Yeah, I could.
And I mean, looking back, probably should have done the same too. um, but where we're kind of going with this is like, you know, of course, we got stuck kind of watching the road for about an hour or so, and this is really cool through all this over the weekend and stuff because I mean, this town got wrecked.
Yeah, we're still picking up the pieces.
Most of our stores are pretty much shut down.
Pretty much the little Family Dollar that's here. It's you walk in, you can smell that there's still some damage, but they're hanging in. They were at the butt end of the water, I would say.
Yeah.
But there's a little grocery store here in town that got completely trashed. Just it was bad. They're about.
I think they were like waist deep in water.
I was gonna say, I think they're about waist deep in water, man. Because like the water, that little grocery store is right there beside that big old ditch where the river practically became a freaking lake, man. Let's just be real.
Yeah, I think somebody told me their ice machine outside they found down at the lawnmower repair shop.
Yeah, it's still there. Yeah, I saw that today. I went to the store to get some Lunchables. Disclosure: 31-year-old man here need Lunchables. We were talking about this at work earlier.
Lunchables are so good though.
You made me hungry. I wanted Lunchables, man. I was like, all right, I want to have a salad and a Lunchable. That was my dinner. It was surprisingly good. Let's just be real. Back to what I was getting at is I was sitting in the parking lot. I was like, isn't that the ice machine from the grocery store? And yeah, it's still down there.
Yeah, and I mean it's a really sad thing because you know we've been in this town off and on for over 20 years, and that store has been there for
almost 35. I remember talking to the lady who owned it, getting information because she was going to close down anyway. She was about to go into retirement, which is that within itself is sad, but it's even more sad now because
they were forced to do it.
They were forced. Like she was absolutely forced to just, all right, we got to close up shop. I mean, so there's no local. I mean, there's still a local place to get some produce and everything, but not meats and such. You have to go out of town for that, right?
Yeah. And I would say the sad thing about that store situation beyond the flood is I was actually talking to my ex-wife's uncle who, you know, he grew up in this town back in like the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And so he's been around this town for God knows how long.
A few decades.
Yeah, something like that.
A few decades.
But me and him were talking and he was like, you know, that lady, that store, I can't tell you how many times I've seen people go in and be like, hey, you know, I can't really afford to get anything. And she'd been like, well, hey, you know, don't sweat it. And he's like, you know, if as many people that she had helped turned around and helped her right now, that store would flourish.
Oh, for sure.
And that's a sad thing. And that's the hard thing with like I guess like they used to call it the good old boy system.
Yeah.
where you just
Yep.
kind of help each other out. And I hate that because
It's practically gone nowadays, and it's the same thing with hell with pretty much anything that you can do with like trading or making deals with people. That's hell. Back in the day, some of the people y'all might remember. I'm not trying to be rude here, but some of your old heads out there, y'all used to, and I still say y'all. I don't know why I'm saying y'all used to. Y'all probably still do. Y'all would y'all would trade with people and make deals, and there was haggling, and you don't get that anymore. It's either my way or the highway. And dude, I hate that. Like you don't build bonds anymore,
no, I mean
and
like
it
so
it just
I,
it
yeah.
like you were saying, it's really sad because like you were stating a little bit ago that she helps out so many people. Hell, I remember her helping out my mom when I was young. Like
Mhm.
mom went up there, she had like $10. I mean, had two mouths to feed and herself, so she was like, "Hey, I got $10. Can I what can you help me out a little bit?" And she's like, "Don't worry about it." And so like I'm right there with them, man. Like I understand completely, and it sucks. It really sucks, and I want to help. I just don't know how. Don't know what I really can do
I mean,
because
well, I will say I do know the
everybody's been
place is
affected.
called Star Grocery.
Yep.
Um, somewhere in which if I can find a link on our Facebook and stuff, I will post it. Someone did start a GoFundMe to kind of
Help her out.
possibly help them,
Yeah.
even if it's just to help them make retirement easier. They deserve it. Like they've
Oh,
been
for
helping this
sure.
community for decades.
For sure. They've been there. Always been there, man. Like,
And I will say, really big props to them. A lot of people that have owned a store for however long, like
mm-hmm.
you never see them there. No, they're there. They close the store every night.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
She
you
come
go
in.
in after 5 o'clock,
Yep. The owner's there, and she's waiting to get what you need and get you going. And I know on especially like the weekdays that she does it or used to
mhm.
do it. Dude, she would stay open until like 7 just to help people out. Like us working at the nursing facility, like we don't get off until 6 p.m.
Oh yeah,
And so like we don't have much planned out, so like we'd hop into the store real quick. I really appreciate that because on the store it's posted, closes at 6 p.m. but she stay open until 7.
yeah, and I mean years ago, like before we had like Family Dollar or anything, that store was it. It was that or the gas station.
Yeah, or you drive
30
20
minutes
20
or
to 40 minutes depending on your speed. And anyway, it it sucks. Like you got to commute when you live in these little small towns like we do, but it does. It is a bit of a it's not a bit of it. It is a tragedy. Let's be honest there, and it's not the only place that was affected. Like there was the gym, the local gym got flooded.
yep, the gym. I mean, of course, our Family Dollar.
But
I
so
think
yeah,
the cafes are pretty much all like trashed right
I was
now.
gonna say the little cafe that's here. It's pretty much not as bad as the grocery store, but it's bad. I saw them today work on it on lunch break. I drove past and I saw guys out there. There was actual bits of road in their parking lot. I don't know if you saw that or not, but
No,
dude,
I
I
didn't
was
see
like,
that.
yeah, they got it cleaned up pretty quickly. But I drove past there. I think it was Sunday. I was coming for lunch, and dude, like there, I saw like just chunks of asphalt all over the parking lot. It's like,
Damn.
what the hell? And like the bar here in town, they also got flooded. They're
Yeah.
I don't think they're open tonight. Like this is the night they usually reopen for like the weekend and preparing and everything. And even they, like I saw them, they're out there. He's still cleaning, still trying to get it done.
Yeah, I know I saw on their Facebook page, which kind of what we were getting at with this is like community coming together and stuff.
We're
Like I
getting there.
know,
We're getting there. We don't have to rush it, man. We don't have to rush it. Like,
well, like I know, like with the bar, in which any of like musicians out there that listen to it know, like if we have that venue that's like home base to us or whatever. I remember there's a venue I used to play at with a band called Roots in Strawn, Texas, and I mean I think we'd slept at that bar a few
I remember
times.
you telling me stories, but you always they would
Leave our
just,
gear there
yeah,
like for
they,
sometimes like a week, and then come back and get it.
yep,
Like,
they hooked you up, so to speak. They would give you a place to crash if y'all had been drinking too much.
and like that particular bar, like especially back when that band was out and stuff. we would have heard they flooded or
Oh,
something like that,
oh,
we would have.
sorry to interrupt. Speaking of drinking, listeners, what is today? Today, oh, that's right. This is Squatch's birthday today. This man was born on this day. Couldn't ask for a better friend. I just want to say happy birthday, Squatch.
Thanks, bro. That's
A little extra wholesomeness on top of what we're talking about. But you mentioned drink, and I see you got a little drink over there.
Hey man, it's my birthday.
I'm
Worked
not.
a 12-hour shift.
I'm not discriminating.
Gotta have a little margarita, you know.
Is it a margarita?
It's some lime juice with tequila and stuff.
So
in
you're
it.
saying it's the flavor of margarita, but
yeah.
not a margarita.
I mean, it might be a little bit stronger, but today was a day.
Dude,
Like, you know,
there's a continue. Sorry, I cut you off.
but you know, we're talking about like, you know, musicians and stuff helping out their home base venue. One of our local guys, I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, throw his name out there. Scott Haley. I used to play with him. Still occasionally jam with him here and there. You know, the guy tours all over the state. He's done some European tours.
He does some European stuff, hasn't he?
Yeah, and I mean, I saw on their Facebook the bar. He was literally at the bar helping them mop up water.
Yeah,
clean up.
he was in there like scrubbing the poop deck, so to speak.
Yeah, and I
Like-
mean, I will give him a lot of credit. He has done a lot of things for like when communities around are in need. He's on top of being a musician, he is a phenomenal event thrower or host, sponsor. I don't know what you would call it, but like, you know,
Producer?
I wouldn't use the word producer, but
No?
like,
Yeah.
I know
You saw the ones I was thinking of too, so no point in trying to just repeat the same thing.
but he's always like down to throw, you know, events for a good cause. But like, you know, he was there helping the bar, and I'm sure there was plenty of other locals there too that I didn't see in a picture, so I can't name off who. But like the grocery store, man, I drove by. Like, of course, we had our I say local news. Like, local news is from Abilene, an hour away.
Yeah, from Abilene, Texas. Was it K-Tab?
Yeah, they were
K-Tab
there.
came by and they did some interviewing of people, and they weren't too bad, I guess.
I mean, they didn't really show like a lot of
doesn't really do
the
it justice.
devastation,
Yeah, they
and
didn't.
also they didn't show like a whole lot of like. I mean, I drove by the other day because I myself would have been helping with cleanup and stuff because I mean, this town at times has been a thorn in my side, but it's a part of who I am.
I say it's always, much as I hate to admit it, not a big fan of this town, but I will say I'm a fan of this town when it comes to situations like. So we had this flood this past weekend. Before that, we had those fires a couple years back,
Oh yeah,
and then before that, well, we all know what happened to the world. Pandemic hit, and dude, like every time the communities come together, and it's really good to see that that's still a thing. That there's, as much as you might be at odds with somebody or whatever have you, like when crud hits the fan. I'm trying to be a little bit nicer here today.
I was not gonna say crud.
I know
so.
you weren't. That's why I saw you looking at me like,
Thank you.
why don't you just say shit? Well, because I'm trying to. This is a wholesome episode, man. I'm trying, okay. Anyway, they really pull together, and it's like back to that night when I saved Squatch from his impending watery vehicle death. He's all right. He a little shooken up, you know. He's a big old baby. Now, anyway, we were sitting there watching, and like we were about a football field length away, maybe a football field and a half from the little gas station we were talking about, right? And you could just see people just directing each other, like, "Hey, I need you to go here. You go here." You saw like the emergency trucks and everything, the lights, all that stuff. You could really tell that you saw some people just randomly rock up, and you could good old boy truck. Like, what can I do to help? And man, they just
sure.
we just sat there and we were watching because we can't go anywhere. I want to go help, but I can't get out of here. So and like I just did my part. The volunteer guy was like, "Hey, stay here and do that," and it felt kind of good being a part of that, being able to say, "Hey, I helped out in that," and like I don't want nothing for it. Like I just, it made me feel good knowing that I was helping people stay out of danger, man. And I see why these guys do it now. Like you don't. I mean, yeah, it'd be nice part to get paid for if it's like your everyday thing, but at the
Yeah.
same time, like these guys are volunteers, so like I see why they do it, and it's just it's insane. Like the Scott Haley helping and stuff. Like it really, you can really tell who actually gives a crap and who doesn't.
Oh
And
yeah.
as much as I
I mean,
want to try to go out and help other people with our job, dude, we were already helping people. Like,
yeah. I mean, we spent the hours leading up to my whole crazy
yeah,
situation.
yep.
So, like, when nursing homes start taking on water in rooms, like, our first priority is getting
I
residents
say
out.
getting your family to safety as quick as possible, getting them away from outlets that can cause fires and such. I mean,
I mean, we ultimately, us who work in like nursing facilities, we have to care about your family before our own when
yeah,
we're there. Like, and even sometimes we're not there because, like, I mean, I was still on the clock because I was passing meds that night. But Yeti here, I mean,
I
he
was
heard
home. I
there
was already
was a
cleaned up. Yeah,
situation. Like I said, he rolled up in shorts and flip flops and was
yeah.
like,
I was ready
"How
for
can I
bed.
help?"
I was ready for bed, man, and looked out my back door and I was like, oh, okay, there's a good couple foot of water there. Let's go have some fun.
And I mean, like, our whole nursing home flooded, and there again, we had some of our coworkers, out of town boyfriends, or just random people in the community up
Yep,
there
yep.
helping us. You know,
Just bringing towels and stuff, trying to help control the water. And I honestly, I want to say us doing that and them coming in and helping, like it honestly helped save a lot more than what was damaged.
oh for sure. And I mean, our nursing facility took on. A, I'm not gonna say a ton of damage,
Eh,
but I mean, we had water seeping in through the walls. There's got to be some damage
But I
there
said the water
somewhere.
was right beneath the window frames, man, and it was just stagnant. Well, it's stagnant being the next day, it stopped
Yeah.
moving, obviously, but it was just standing water. You were telling me that's the word I'm looking for. It's just standing water, man, and it was still seeping in, and it's one of those things that the residents are getting frustrated and everything. And yeah, it sucks. I know, but it's hard to explain them to them. Explain that to them. Can't English apparently, and it's just you really like I said at work, Squatch. Like it is very wholesome to see a community come together. Like it's one of those things. Like yeah, I'm proud of this town, or I'm proud of this because like you all walks of life were out there helping, man. And
Like, it's one of them things for me that like restores my faith in humanity in
oh,
a
for
little bit.
sure. And I'm gonna make a little dark joke here. I'm pretty sure God don't like this town. As I stated
I
prior,
mean, I mean, he tried to flood us out,
I
man.
mean, he's
He didn't
tried
even tell us
flooding.
to go on the
no,
ark.
no.
He was like, "Nope."
There was. I know I'm not religious, so this means a lot coming from me. He tried flooding, he tried burning, and he tried a freaking pesticide. Okay, let's be real. See, it's one of those things, man. Like I'm telling you, it feels so good to be a part of this. Like I didn't have a very big part, but I was big enough part to save my friend, check on my mom. She was okay. I'm really surprised with her. My mom's only thing got flooded in her house was her den. It's like maybe 2 inches of water. It has nothing compared to the footage of water elsewhere.
Yeah, I know. My grandmother, who would, she's like a block from where we are right now. I was obviously dealing with trying not to drown myself. So being a little dramatic there, but I just
Yeah, it's all right
in a
though.
crazy situation, and
I mean, it's stressful, man. Like
I
it's
so the next day, like, I'm texting my aunt and uncle, like, "Hey, are y'all okay? How's Nana?" 'Cause they live right down the road from her. They tell me, which my grandmother, I love my grandmother. She is one of the reasons I'm so close to God, and probably one of the reasons I'm as good of a person as I am.
you're good.
I sometimes,
Yeah, yeah,
sometimes,
yeah. You're good
but
sometimes.
but like she's very like blissfully naive, and so I'm so glad that like some miracle her house didn't flood at all, didn't get any damage.
See, I remember as a kid, her backyard would flood, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, because they have like a ditch, but then over the hill on the edge of the ditch, like it just runs downhill to the house.
Yeah.
And like all of her, I swear, like I don't know if maybe the flood happened because she's a very Catholic woman, and I don't know if the flood happened while she was doing her nightly rosary or what.
It might have,
But I
actually.
swear, like everyone else's trash cans got washed down the street.
But hers.
Her trash can was sitting right where she left it. No water got in her house.
Dude, yeah, that's...
Like I mean, I know you're not religious, but I'm like,
No,
sitting here,
no,
like,
that's some... that you. Yeah, I would say if I was religious, but that's a bit of divine intervention.
yeah, like, I mean, she's just blissfully naive, probably in there, just watching the Catholic channel all day,
I
doing
see
her
she
little
just-
rosary bead thing.
Just
and
watching her shows, man. Didn't realize what's going on.
the next morning, she was like, "Oh, there was a flood. I didn't know." Like,
dear me, sweetie, where'd all this water come
and
from?
she's like, "Where's your car?" I'm like, "The flood." She goes, "Was it bad?"
They took my car.
Like it
Yeah.
almost took my car down the river.
I had to stop it from repossessing my vehicle for me.
But you know, all that being said, like, it is so awesome. Like, I guess that's one of the things that kind of keeps at least me somewhat liking small towns and all that, because
Just also, I forgot to mention this. We do the disclaimer about like the language and stuff, the listener advisory.
we didn't do the
We didn't.
disclaimer,
No.
but we're not really talking about anything too off today.
Yeah, true.
And as far as on our distributor, I actually have it listed to put that we have explicit content.
Okay, I
So-
want to make sure. I was like, wait a minute, we forgot something here.
And I will say I'm a little proud of us because I know how we both talk, and we
Oh,
only
yes.
said shit now twice.
Yep. I was about to say it a thrice time, but then chose not to because I kind of. Yeah, you were correct. We're doing good. We're doing good. This is good. It's
But like, you know,
it's really good, man.
these small towns, like, love them or hate them. I know, like, you know, all the emo kids. Oh, I want to get out of this small town.
Don't do that
You
again.
know,
Don't.
I'm probably gonna do it again later.
Don't do that again.
Where are you?
Oh my god. Oh my god. I can't, man. Like, what's terrible is at work. I was like, I was looking for you. Was in one of the shower rooms coming out. I was like, where is everybody? And like the nurse is sitting there. She's like, I don't know. Like, do you know where Squatch is at? And she was like, no. I was like, so I go into the bathroom to help the person I was helping. I was like, where are you? Oh, I'm so sorry.
See, if I would have heard that, I would have come in with that.
Oh, for sure.
Like belting it out across the nursing home. That or me or Sarah would have, because she would have.
Just name drop, why don't you? I was like, where's the... I use the nurse, and you're like, no, let's just drop the name,
I
shall we?
didn't say your name.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of said mine.
I stopped it, but I'm pretty sure at this point they know our names.
I mean, most of our current followers are like people that know us anyway.
Oh, for sure.
So-
Which I'm gonna go ahead and say, we Squatch and Yeti here. We really appreciate those listeners and those of you like Squatch was informing me that we had some downloads. Thank you. I want to say thank you for that. It means a lot to us, and we really appreciate you going on this trip with us. I mean, it's not every day you have a couple of local boys, right? That
Yeah.
just
And what
spontaneously
really
do this.
threw me off is I looked on our
Analytics.
analytics, and there was like we had like a download or like listen in like Belgium,
Plus, it was like Denmark or something you said.
something like that, and I was like, I
Hey.
mean, I was gonna be ecstatic to see a few listens from like the neighboring towns, like.
To be fair, do you really think they're looking for like what we are providing, or are they looking for like some kind of like cryptic zoology thing that they're like, oh, let's see what they talk
I mean,
about?
I don't know, but if they do tune back in, just know we
So,
will
yeah,
get to
yeah.
that at some point.
We do. So again, listeners out there, and we'll get back to the topic here in a second. If y'all have any ideas of topics that y'all want to hear us discuss about, or even want to possibly have your own little comment or caveat, so to speak, into our podcast here, comment, leave us a message. I'm sir. Jesus.
We do actually have a Facebook page up
I was getting
for
there.
the Squatch and Yeti
I was
show.
getting there, but I can't English today.
YouTube will be up soon.
YouTube.
There is an Instagram page, but it was a mess up on my own part, so
Yes.
until you see actual content, do not follow the page.
Yep. Yep, I was gonna say Squatch is definitely the tech guy here. Yeti will be learning it here shortly, hopefully. Uh, not a tech guy. Squatch has seen that many a times. I if I don't, yeah, you chuckle.
So he says he's not a tech guy, but we're sitting in his game room.
Hey,
I am actually the tech guy. I love computers and all that, and I just basically run my life
just
off a laptop.
just because I have a laptop, a gaming PC that I've never touched, and I feel sorry, cousin, if you're listening to this, cousin, I'm sorry.
I'm trying to
pro-
make him use it more.
He's trying to get me to play it more. I swear. I have a new Xbox Series X that I like to play. I'm sorry, I'm a casual gamer. PC gaming can be casual, yes, and this is going off to a different topic, but I'm not a tech guy. I'm sorry. Like I want to be. I would love for people to be like, "Hey, man, do you know how to work on this computer?" No.
Oh, working on them is actually easier than operating them.
Well, that's what I'm referring to. Is both. Like dude, I can't. I mean, I probably can. I'm not dumbfounded enough to be like completely ignorant of how this stuff processes and works and all that good jazz. But I don't have the patience.
It's actually not that hard.
Yeah, you say that.
Listen, man. Who and I will kind of plug this in because my dad was one of them people that was also down to help people in the community. My dad didn't learn how to work a computer until the last 2 years of his life. But I remember, people that are old enough to remember BearShare, LimeWire, and all that. Back
Dude,
when
I
that
haven't
was a
heard those in
thing,
so long.
I remember
Oh
I got
my
this.
gosh.
I got birthday money, and I went to Radio Shack to buy a CD burner, and my mom was like, I had $100, and she goes, "Oh, we can get this $80 one that's an external one, plugs into the USB port on the computer, or I could spend $60 and get the internal one that someone had to install in our computer." Well, I suddenly thought of, I'm pretty sure it was like Beyblades or Pokemon Yu-Gi-Oh cards, something like that that I wanted. Maybe a skateboard. I don't know.
You're really dropping hints to the next episode, aren't you? You're not even trying to be discreet. You're just letting it out.
I mean, if people heard the first one, they ought to know we're super nostalgic.
Oh,
But
for
so
sure.
I, bought the $60 one, and I got home that night and I said, "Here, Dad, I got us a CD burner." And he goes, language disclaimer here. My dad goes, "What in the fuck do you want me to do with that?" Understand? My dad, until even when he learned how to build computers, he called them computers.
Computers. That even sounds like a slur within itself. You damn computer.
But like the next morning, I get up and I see there's 2 disk drives in our computer, and I was like,
You're saying
"Who put that there?" He figured out how to install it. I will say, my father, if it could break, he could fix it.
Well, same thing with my dad too, which really miss my dad now that you were talking about yours, and I'm sorry that Squatch's dad passed a few years back. Still sucks, and my dad is how would you explain it? He's indisposed of at the moment.
Yes.
Yeah, I miss my father. If at some point he ever gets to hear this, I miss you and love you, Dad. But he's not gone. Let's make that clear. When I say I miss you and love you, I don't mean like he's in the next
He's
life.
out of touch.
Yes. Those of you who know, if you're listening, you know. Anyway.
But anyways, back to just coming together and stuff. We get to watch all this.
We're going with that scatterbrain ADHD crap again.
Oh God, I get worried about how scatterbrained we are, and then so I love the podcast Ninjas or Butterflies, and on my lunch break today, I was watching one of their episodes on YouTube, and they're as bad, maybe even worse than us. I'm not sure. They've been doing the podcast thing for a minute.
I haven't got to look into it yet, but I'm
But
going
somebody literally commented, I love the whole scatterbrained ADHD vibe because my brain can actually focus on it.
As I say, I feel like whenever you talk to somebody with ADHD, if you yourself have some form of scatterbrainness and ADHD, you both just kind of click, and it's like putting Lego pieces together that probably shouldn't fit together, but they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like people that vibe with us are like the type that they get the Lego kit and they could build the Death Star, or we can just build 14 really dope little like space jets or whatever.
Like little starfighter things, little TIE fighters and X-wings and whatnot for our Star Wars fans.
But like we get to see all this like crazy stuff going on. Like we talked about like wanting to help out more, but due to our jobs, my sister at one point was a volunteer firefighter in one of the neighboring towns. She got 3 boys, and it's just,
that's true. It's a bit too much, huh?
3 boys, and she runs a daycare, so
even more boys, right?
Yeah, she just got like 50 kids in her care at any given time.
That is absurd. Kudos. I'm gonna say it now. Kudos to your sister for being able to have the patience to deal with that much chaos.
Yeah, kids.
Honestly, she's a lifesaver within her own. You really think about it. Like, she's saving a lot of people from wanting to murder their kids.
I mean, like, we don't, nowadays, kids aren't blessed with parents like back in the day where mom could stay home all day with you and...
Oh, no. That's not a thing really much anymore.
I think in our current state of the economy, we can't have that.
We can't talk about that right now. Talk about it later.
But, like, I think, and also the way people are raised, that you have to have, for one, the 2-income thing is a necessity, and then, and I guess I can, as much as I can respect the old-fashioned traditional, family, dad working, mom doing the mom thing, and to those you moms that do that, you're rock stars.
To dads as well who do the opposite of what the moms do. Kudos on you, man.
Yeah, because it's hard to take care of everybody on your own.
A family is definitely people. Again, was probably a topic for another time, but you definitely have to have that. I don't want to say camaraderie, but that partnership that like a lot of people are seeming to lack a lot lately, and that's one of the things I really enjoyed about, like I said, over the weekend was back to where I was saying was the people who are at odds. Even like mothers and fathers and could be hating each other. All of a sudden, like, boom, let's work on this. Let's make this get back to better. Get back to better. Oh my God, dude, I can't English today. Get back to where we need to be to help out the community, because ultimately that's gonna help out the kids.
Oh, for sure. Like, I mean, I know when all this, like, I've seen people that you can see down at the gas station a week ago, we're talking smack to each other.
Oh yeah,
maybe even wanting to fight. Things like that. Or whatever. See them talking crap on Facebook. That's more the common thing now.
So yeah, that's more of the
but
crap
like
talking
those same
online.
people are. Those 2 guys are both pulling up to the store with trailers, helping them load up stuff or whatever.
Trying to help people get out of the water and everything. It's hell. I don't know if our dads were around, they'd be right there with them.
And like, like I was getting out with my sister, like I've been approached, I don't know about you, but by the fire department here at some point, they asked me, I think years ago at the nursing home here, they come in for our fire extinguisher training,
Yeah.
And of course, I've been around stuff like that my whole life, so I did well. And they were like, oh, well, if you want any more training, you should really come talk to us. And they blew my phone up for like 2 months, like once a week, like, hey, we could really use some extra hands. And it's not that I would actually, so I at one point considered being an EMT and a firefighter. So I thought maybe the first responder thing could be kind of cool, but with our job, as much as we don't want to answer the phone sometimes, we're on call basically all the time.
All the time.
Whether we actually accept the call or not, it's a different story. But
but to be fair, if circumstances absolutely need us, like we'll be there.
I mean, like you were getting ready for bed and come help with the flood, like
Why wouldn't I? I said our seeing as you dropped her name already, Sarah, if you listen to us, I'm sorry. I tried to get him to, not drop your name, but here we are.
Anyway. The only anonymity is with us. That's a big word. I'm proud of
that's what I'm checking. I'm like, dang. Oh, yep, you're dropping stuff.
Hopefully I didn't break my headphones.
Only a $70 pair of headset, maybe more.
Yeah.
Okay. A couple $100. Yep. Take a drink. Yeah.
But
Wash that bad taste out. No, hell, what was this? We're cursing again. You gotta stop.
but like you know,
she reached out to me. Our nurse did,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Hey," she's like, "Squatch is up there by himself." She used his actual name anyway. I was like, "Yeah, he's fine." LOL. She's like, "No, it's flooding." I was like, "Oh." And like as I'm saying this, bantering with her, I'm getting dressed because I looked out the back door when she messaged me, and I was like, "Oh yeah, there's a lot of water everywhere." And I'm my little colossus, man. I'm so glad I was able to get up there and help you. And you should have taken the damn ride.
here we go.
Oh yeah, this is happening now. This is happening now.
Go ahead, call me out.
Yep, calling you out. So Squatch, as he has already disclosed that he used to have. I say used to because it's totaled, right?
Probably
His little Chrysler he has. I knew he
a
probably
silver bullet.
Yeah, not anymore. It's a silver slug. Anyway, I was up there about to leave, and I was like, "Hey, man," I was like, "Do you need a ride home?" I was like, "I know you're about to leave too. I don't mind hanging around for a second. I can take you home, no problem." And he's like, "No, I got it. Go ahead, and go home, get some rest." I was like, "Okay." So I ended up going and went and checked on my mom, and all of a sudden, no more than 5-10 minutes later, who do I see? I see Squatch on my phone. Okay, this might be an emergency. Oh, it was. Hey, man, I'm over here by this church. My car stalled. I need help. Me being me, should have taken the damn ride. I'll be in there in a little bit. And then, like you said at the beginning, 10, 15 minutes later, I went through some very precarious situations just getting to you, man. Like, the roads were bad. I drive a little sport SUV, a little Mazda Tribute. Y'all knows what those are, and you knows what it is. It's like a Ford Escape, but Mazda.
S and SUV means sport.
You right. It's the same thing when I say VIN number. I'm saying number. Okay, leave me alone. I cannot English, and you can't English, and sometimes I can English and you can't. Oh, I'm gonna hurt you. You're gonna get hurt. Anyway, I finally track his big ass down. Cursed again. Don't care. Done. I'm done. We still being wholesome somewhat. We doing southern wholesome hospitality here.
We're doing trailer park wholesome at this point.
It was ain't no trailer park. Shut up. How'd you know I was going to trailer park? Anyway, I get to Squatch and I was like, "Hey man, like, you need to get out of here, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, a lot deeper than I thought." I was like, "Could have told you that. You're in a little."
To be fair, it got much deeper before you got there.
Well, to be fair, your car sits like 4 inches off the ground.
Yeah. Well, it's 5 until I get in.
That's a bit excessive, but yeah. Jesus, man. Anywho, it's one of those things. Like I'm gonna. He's not gonna live this down because like he said at the beginning, I had that song playing in my head, and just I can be your hero, baby. I'm gonna get you out of this water.
He even like unzipped his jacket and pulled the chest hair out and everything. It's very
Don't
heroic.
be telling them I have chest hair.
You're a Yeti.
And have you seen them? Their pecs are hairless. No? Okay. Mystery solved. Made Squatch go silent for the 3rd time today. I think out of pure rage, though. He's fighting back the urge. But it was definitely a fun. I'm not going to say it was. I'm not going to lie. I had fun over the weekend. Like between work, the tragedy that happened. Tragedy is a bit bad. Like that's like people died. Well, we'll say the disaster that happened. Like there was a lot of one of our coworkers. If you're listening to this or will listen to us at some point, I wish that we could have done more to help you. She lives out in the country, and you know who I'm talking about. She lost a lot of her property. That's what it is really at this point. Lost a lot of chickens, cows, actual like farm tools and stuff. She said that her boat was down, I think like a couple roads down at her neighbor's house.
I mean, I believe it. I found my lawnmower down the street Monday
That's
morning.
right. They found your lawnmower like a block down.
Yeah, I went like going outside. I was going. Yeah, I borrowed a car Sunday night, and then from my grandmother. And so with my car being stuck on South Road, I hadn't been in my backyard since the storm. And then when I went back there Sunday morning to go get in the car, I was like my kid's bike was halfway across my lot.
Yeah.
Um, I have to look and I'm like, where's my lawnmower? So I go walking around trying to find all my shit, and I go down to like a couple houses down, like my lawnmower is sitting there all covered in weeds and everything. And I was like, holy crap! Like, I mean, it's a little push mower, but like, I mean, the fact that my kid's bike didn't get washed down, but the lawnmower did was.
Yeah. Dude, the waters are bad, man. Like they had some oomph behind them. Like it'd probably been better if I wasn't wearing flip flops, but dude, just trudging through like the couple inches of water that I had like just on like the main road here up front of my house, like dude, it sucked. Like it's just not a good time. And back to what I was saying with the whole, I'm gonna call her. I want to say this, but at the same time, I don't. Still waiting on if I can even use her or not. No, I'm not gonna say it. Her new nickname, our coworker. I wanted. Do you even know her nickname that she has bestowed upon herself
I've
because of me?
not been disclosed.
Okay, well I'm gonna say it now. A kitty,
Oh,
likes to be called Kitty. That's my doing. I was like, "Hi, Kitty." So now she loves that. And again, Kitty, hi, Kitty. Whatever you wish to. I'm assuming hi, Kitty. Hi, Kitty sounds better, right? It kind of works in two different ways. If you know what I'm saying, Squatch knows. He's over here chuckling. His face is turning red as his cup.
you keep saying kitty, and I'm imagining one
sorry.
of them girls that wears like.
I
the cat
know you are. That's
ears
not
and-
why I called her Kitty though. She's a kitty because she's like does her own little thing, and you try to mess with her. So, I mean, it's one of those like things.
Cat energy, yeah.
Yes.
I totally get that.
Yes, not some little weird girl being like, oh, thank you. Don't judge me. And in fact, Hi Kitty is actually the exact opposite of that. So, what I was getting at, and yeah, this is a little bit of a thing because anyway, shut up. You know why? She was telling us, man, like she showed us those videos, like in she country girl, knee high water in some areas. It was even deeper. I remember today she was telling me that her and her son like literally had to swim to each other.
Yeah, and her son, love him to death. Like one of the coolest dudes we've met through like work and people at work.
Yeah.
Poor guy, like weighs
So I
about
would say
90 pounds.
soaking wet, maybe a buck.
Like 100 bucks. Damn it.
Tongue twisting the Squatch. Let's do it.
Like 100 pounds, and he's like 6 foot tall. So, like a good light breeze might knock him over.
Yep.
And through all this crazy storm, like he was having to swim to her in this current. And
yeah, she was talking about it today, and I was like, this is where I was getting with this was like, it's a nice wholesome moment. Like all the stuff around them, it sucked, yes, but they were there together. They were handling it together, and that's what's awesome. That's what's so wholesome about it is like they may fight with each other and everything. End of the day, right there with each other.
oh, for sure. I mean, like, me and my sister at times fight like cats and dogs, but
Yeah.
I also know when things get bad, a lot of times, first thing we do is call each other.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's really what family is supposed to do, and friends and your community of people that you know close in the community is like you call them when something arises, and it gives you that. Excuse me. Gives you that. I keep wanting to say camaraderie. That's not what I'm looking for. Gives you that companionship that like those ties are still a thing.
yeah.
Like because like we said earlier, it doesn't happen often.
Oh yeah. So like,
It's really interesting. I'm starting to lose train of thought and getting lost for words because we've both been up since what 5 a.m.
yeah. Well, me 6 because
Oh yeah.
yeah.
You got up at 6.
yeah. So listen, you know what? I'm older than you. Don't judge me for taking
Don't you
longer
do
to get
that?
up.
Don't you do that? You're older than me by a couple months.
Well, you can talk about it in a couple months. You don't know what it's like to be 32.
Oh my god. Not too long ago, in fact, just yesterday you were 31.
That was like practically last year.
Yeah, practically.
But like,
Bastards.
no, it's really cool with like just people being very like the I guess camaraderie, sense of brotherhood, all that,
That's why I say
even
like the companionship, the bonds that you can create from doing such things is something I've honestly kind of had already. Like one of the housekeepers, man. Like today she was super nice to me. She's always nice to me, but like we were able to talk about it and everything, and I was like, yeah, it's cool. Like I'm glad I was able to help y'all. And now like heck, she's ordering cheesecakes for me. So
yeah, for sure. Like,
but
I mean, we talked about, there was fires and stuff a couple years ago,
yep.
which my sister was in the fire department in the next town over then. And, during that, like, where she was obviously helping with the
I say
fires.
that was just as bad as this, man.
And, like, of course, I remember, like, went to the community center over in Cisco, Texas, and then,
So I remember you calling me and being like, hey man, what are you doing? This one I was working nights, wasn't it?
yeah.
Like I was asleep. And
And,
you called me like, hey, like you need to look outside. I was like, okay. Looked outside and it looked like the apocalypse, man. Like there's smoke everywhere. I saw embers and ash flakes just flying through the air. I was like, Jesus.
yeah, that night, I'll admit that night was pretty scary.
Yeah,
Um,
I think
I've
that
never
was
seen my
crazy.
sister freak out, but she called and was like, "Y'all need to get out now."
Yeah, we had what? It was almost 80-mile-an-hour winds, just whipping
Yeah.
fire everywhere.
But like I remember, we get over there and then my family winds up going to my sister's house and I'm like, "Well, I can't just go sit around like a bum like."
Yeah, no, for sure.
So I wound up I got them situated at my sister's house, got my grandmother over there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I go back to the community center, and that was about the time the nursing home that we both work at now was bringing residents there for safety or to get safety.
To get to safety,
And
yes. I wanted to come, but I was trying to get my own mother and at the time her
yeah,
thing out of here, get them safe with their 4 dogs they had at the time. I had my dog at the time, and dude, I'm gonna just go and tell you this now. I didn't think I was gonna. I didn't think I had anything. Like
yeah,
I had nobody to come pick me up. You were locked where you were.
yeah.
EMS and everything, all the emergency services, they were doing their thing.
I
I
mean,
was
they
just
had state troopers driving down the streets in this
telling
town
you to
going, "Get
evacuate.
out."
Yeah, like evacuate. Calm, collectively evacuate. Get what is like. Get your valuable. Like by valuables, I mean like
Your loved ones.
your loved ones, like your pets, your kids. I mean, if you love your kids, that is. It's just one of those
You should
things.
still save them even if you don't love them.
Yeah, it's debatable. Anyway, I honestly, man, I didn't think I called my brother, told him what was going on. He's like, "You need to get the hell out," and I was like, "I can't. I don't got a ride. That's why I didn't have a vehicle." And
you didn't have a car then.
yeah, did you stop dropping? I know we've been cursing a lot more, but we need to quit. All right. Yeah, they heard you. I know they
Yeah,
did.
well, whatever.
Anyway, other guy. I want to say his name, but at the same time I don't because I want to have
Mhm.
that give him that. Anyway, another friend of ours showed up and he whipped his truck in here in his trailer, picked me up with all my stuff and my dog, and was like, "Come on, we gotta go." And like I remember I stayed up all night. I mean, I was gonna be waking up anyway, but I was up all night just watching toward the north, just all the flames crawling all over the hills, just whipping around, getting closer and closer and closer, and then finally, like when it says like 4 or 5 a.m., I saw like the firefighters. I'm assuming got it under control, and the wind kind of did die down, and I saw the flames kind of dissipate, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And again, kudos to firefighters out there and volunteers, man. Like those guys, you are the real ones. I remember seeing helicopters and stuff fly overhead and dropping water everywhere. At that time, we wanted water. This time, we don't want water.
No.
Is I think we're done with water.
If we would have had this water back then,
That would have been lovely.
yeah, it would have been great.
Been
Um,
tremendous help
but
back then.
like I was at the community center and seeing people at the
Come together.
community center, the
Yeah.
church there, and they're helping people from the neighboring towns, that community, all the firefighters. I mean, in this area, our firefighters are dope. Like if there's a fire 3 towns over
They're
and it
heading.
starts getting too bad, boom, they're over there.
Yeah, they don't dilly dally, so to
You know,
speak.
if
Like
we
they
have
get
a
there.
fire that gets too bad, firefighters from 2 or 3 towns over are here in like
In
30
return,
minutes.
yep, they return the favor, which is again, dude, I'm telling you, like it's amazing. Like
The world needs more of that.
the only thing I know what the world needs more. Yes, the world needs more of that, but the world needs more of that, but without the disasters. And I'm not talking about like emergency services doing more, and that's not what
I
I'm
mean,
talking about.
no, we need that brotherhood.
Yes, I'm
and
talking about like the companionship amongst people. Like stop hating, stop doing like it makes no sense. Like that's what all this talk was about today was to really enlighten people that like worst times, bad times, all the other badish good words you can say. Like any times, just help each other out. Like, cause you don't know what's going on, man. Like hell, for all you know, like this guy next door to me, like his house might have flooded. I don't know, but he could reach out to me and I'd be okay to help him. I like today with our kitchen staff. Her house flooded and heck, hi kitties over there, freaking helping clean it up. Some other coworkers over helping clean it up. I felt bad because I wanted to go help, but I got things I got to do myself, and I know that's kind of a cheeky way to make an excuse, but I just one of those things to also want to respect the lady who lives there. She doesn't really want men over there, and I respect that because her husband, you know, like anyway, you know who you are. Those of you listening who know who that is, you know who that is. But I'm getting a loss for words and kind of just spitballing here, man. So I think it's about
I
time.
think just in closing, we just let's go and wrap it up and just say
Yeah.
that, like, of course, as I'm trying to close it with very wholesome, like a truck
Yeah.
drives by.
Yeah, I heard that. That was nice. Yeah,
Anyways,
another one. There goes another one. Yeah, just hang on a second. I
well,
think now we
just-
can. Don't. What you laughing about?
nothing. But like, so in closing, I just would like to say that, you know, we want the world, or we think the world should definitely benefit from like that small town brotherhood camaraderie where like you'll even
You
help
used it.
the people you don't like.
You used camaraderie. We used it finally. It was used in the proper way.
Like, you know, this is probably, you know, definitely a more wholesome talk for us. And we had another episode planned in which it'll probably be done soon, probably the next one. But, you know, we just, after this weekend, we really felt like we needed to share with the world.
I just want to sit down and talk while it's fresh in our minds. Be like, man, like this is what the world actually needs to be like. Not the disaster part, but like
if we could have this level of brotherhood on an average Tuesday,
dude, life would be so much better for everybody. They just
like, I mean, it's almost like it would be good enough that I feel like it would be like some fake movie stuff, you know?
yeah.
But with that being said, you know, just I hope
you're losing words now too. Yeah. Yeah.
I would just like to close with, myself, I'm religious, man. Everybody out there listening, I'm praying for you. I hope the world, can anyone that hears this can just help spread the positivity, the brotherhood, the camaraderie, and just, learn from one of the few things these small towns really have to offer,
And
And,
be a little bit more generous with like volunteers and stuff. I would say, like help them out when you can. I mean, they're there helping you out, usually free of charge. I mean, and they're putting their life on the line most of the time when they're doing it too.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
like really spread that around to them. Really show them how grateful you are. I'm saying now myself. I'm gonna end it on my side with, thank you for everybody, people who are listening. Like thank you for that alone, and then thank you for people out there who possibly are listening, and you guys are, y'all any kind of emergency service or any of that kind of nonsense or
Paid or non-paid,
Yep,
you're
paid or
freaking rock
non-paid.
stars.
Like you guys are awesome. Like we can kind of understand to a small degree what y'all have to deal with because of the line of work we're in currently. But it's a thankless job, man. And I'm gonna tell you right now, like you got all the thanks from me. I will appreciate you every day. So that's it for me. What about you,
Yeah.
Squatch?
So I just with that like to say thank you everyone for listening. I hope you tune in on the next episode.
Yeah, it might be just
Follow
a
us on
scatterbrain.
follow us on Facebook at the Squatch and Yeti Show. Should have YouTube and
I say
Instagram
we're on
up
Spotify, aren't we?
very soon. Yes, we are on Spotify and I believe Amazon Music as well.
Oh, we got
Or
that one, did we? Oh, nice.
Amazon Music podcast. It's Amazon's player platform.
Yeah.
And there's a few other like little podcast apps. I don't know how popular they are, so I'm just look for Squatch and Yeti Show.
Another thing I want to say is like thank y'all for obviously tuning in. I mean,
Anyone that listens, thank you. Every like, every share, every play.
every whisper, I'm just gonna say it. Whisper it. Go to your friends or your loved ones. And be like, hey, check out the Squatch and Yeti show. And just whisper it. It'll be all right.
Every bit of that helps us, and then ultimately, like we said earlier, if you have something you would like us to talk about, like to talk, even if you want to talk to us, I'm sure we could find a way to make that work.
No, for sure.
Message us, comment on our socials, reach out to us. We this is a very viewer oriented podcast as much
Like,
as it is our thing.
but so yeah, we also like we stated in the first episode, like there's no holds bars. Like there's no taboo that we won't talk on. No subjects or anything of the natures that are out there in the world. Especially nowadays, there's a lot of things being discussed now. We're open to all of it, so please let us know.
With that being said, thank you for listening.
Have a good night, day, morning, whenever you're listening.
Average Tuesday in July, whatever you got. Thank you for listening and hope you tune in on the next one.